Oh boy. Mm. Wow. Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football god. You know, I love football Sundays. Not only do I love having the games and stuff, I love the camaraderie with my friends and stuff. My man Daniel Hernandez, unfortunately, is moving, and this is going to be the last Sunday that he's going to be here without having to make a big travel and things. So we're going to be cooking his favorite sub today, the steak and cheese sub, in which case I got to go out and get the meats because I was busy yesterday dealing with my foot. But it's so much fun having the guys on over. We're breaking bread together, watching our teams. We're living and dying with what happens with them. And it is just great. That's the big thing about football. That's incredible. And that was instilled with me as a child growing up. When this is before all the technology and the internet and things like that. But my dad would always have bets with all of, the Washington fans, uncles and cousins and things like that. And the phone would be ringing off the hook all week. And if the Cowboys won, it stopped ringing. Washington won, it's ringing off the hook all week. Because everybody, where's my $10 at? The coolest thing is my father has still been doing the same thing. My father is 85 years old. My brother, Greg, is a Commanders fan, along with his kids. So my dad has bets with my brother and his son every week. So they'll have like $20 on the Cowboys and $20 on the Commanders. So the funny thing is that tradition has carried through, because I saw my dad yesterday when I went over to pick up the big sub. And he said, hey, I'm already playing with, house money. I said, because Washington got the hell beat out of them on Thursday night. And so he said, I called your brother, and I didn't hear from him. He said, I called him a couple of times. He said, I finally heard from him Friday, and he just said, I finally just got up off the floor. Literally, because they got knocked the F out. And he said, that's it. I ain't heard nothing else from them. So, I'm so happy about that for my dad. My dad's like, what are we going to do? He said, I'm going to watch the first half, but, I'm older, so I go to bed. I said, Dad, I think we got a good chance in this one. I said, I think you got a chance to double your money this weekend. And that's what I hope truly happens. The Cowboys, this will be the healthiest they've been for a game, if you can actually say healthy, because the reality is from the first day of training camp, you're never as good as you are the first day of training camp. The hits and everything else that happen, they accumulate. It's not so much who is healthy by the end of the season, it's who's hurt the least, because everybody is battered and bruised. You can't go through an NFL game and get beat down like you do and not have effects to it. Slow down, you can't hit as hard and things like that. So yes, we have Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Viotis back. You don't know if they're truly 100%, but having them back, I will take a battered Tyron Smith over Agoda. Not to say Agoda did not, do yeoman's work. He didn't pull a Chaz Green for us, but it's going to be better to have those guys back. The talk all week has been Dak Prescott. It's all on Dak. It's all on Dak. They're going to win or lose because of Dak. No, I'm not with you on that one. I'm not with you on that one, because you could have the greatest quarterback of all time out there, but if the receivers aren't catching the football, it don't matter what he does. You can have the greatest quarterback out there, but if the offensive line isn't blocking for him, it doesn't matter. You can have the greatest quarterback out there, and if he hands off the ball, they lose 2 or 3 yards. Doesn't matter. You can have the greatest quarterback out there, and if the coach doesn't call the right plays against the right defenses, it doesn't matter. You can have the greatest quarterback out there, and if your defense can't stop them, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. If this game is won, It's going to take a collective effort out there. San Francisco is too damn good. That's right. I have to give credit where credit's due. They're good. They have incredible weapons on offense. There's so many guys to stop. You're going to need to get pressure from your front without having to blitz, because you need all hands on deck to try and cover these guys. You blitz, Brock Purdy is going to get that screen pass. You're going to get Deebo Samuels or Christian McCaffrey, because you're shorthanded out there, that are going to go for 25, 30 yards. If this game is won, it's going to take everybody, from the kicker to the quarterback to the ball boy. Everything's got to be right for this game. And I'm excited about it. In fact, I'm excited as can be, because I need to go out and get my meats and everything for today. I'm actually going to start live streaming the London game at 10 o'clock because I want to carry. This is going to be a marathon day. This is going to end up being basically about a 14-hour live stream. So I want to be ready for this and hope that my system can make it. It's going to be big, and I can't wait. So we got the London game with Jacksonville versus the Bills, and the Bills may have made a major miscalculation, because here's the thing that's kind of crazy. They showed up yesterday, so they're going to have that jet lag. They're going to be a little bit behind. They're playing a 10 o'clock game. So we'll see if that pays off for them. You know, you're typically ready for a 1 o'clock. Now, this is a little earlier. You know, you're up probably at 5 a.m., getting to the stadium, getting your, wrapped up, taped up, and everything else. And it's going to be a little different, but we'll see. We'll see how it all works for them, how it works out for them. Then, of course, we've got the Giants versus the Miami Dolphins. Can the Dolphins rebound from the butt whipping they took against the Bills after destroying the Denver Broncos, basically now being called frauds? Can the Giants get up off the floor and try and make their season somewhat respectable after laying an egg? Then we've got the Eagles versus the Rams. Eagles, shout out to you for being 4-0. But to me, you're a shaky 4-0. Your defense does not look anything like it did last year. You seem to have some problems. Now, to your credit, you are finding ways to win. But to see the Commanders get beat down by the Bears after they took you to overtime makes you kind of say, the fact that your defense is only one of 6 teams that have given up 1,000 yards passing and the third most TD passes says your secondary is not good. And, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. And to think that the Rams, which are passing the ball really well, now get Cooper Kupp back, it's going to be an interesting game at 4 o'clock. We'll be definitely zoomed in on that one. And then finally, the main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah. Cowboys versus 49ers, and I cannot wait. So as we get out of here, I want to listen to what NFL Network, I'm sorry, oh boy, can't think of the name of the show. Just hear what they have to say about the whole matchup. We all know they're all picking the San Francisco 49ers, that the Cowboys are ass, and Dak Prescott, it's all on him.
It's going to be great, I think. The 49ers have eliminated the Cowboys in each of the last 2 postseasons. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense has struggled in those losses, averaging fewer than 15 points per game. That defense has consistently been good. Prescott was already fired up for this one when he was asked how to describe how it felt losing to the 49ers in the playoffs last year.
I mean, we're so far past that, to be honest with you, but that's obvious. I mean, you just want to piss me off going into this week, and I appreciate that. I do, actually. I do. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
They are right now probably most likely team to go in the Super Bowl. But in order for them to get there, they've got to go by us, hopefully 2 times, if that's the way it falls in the playoffs.
So, Marcus, what needs to change for the Cowboys this time around versus the 49ers?
Do tell us. Do tell us.
I don't care. I could care less about any words. This is about action, boss.
There you go.
That's all it is for Dak Prescott. This action. I don't care if you get pissed off today. I want you to be pissed off Sunday in a positive way. And the one thing you have to do is you have to overcome whatever adversity comes along in this game, and with your play, whether that's your feet, whether that's a critical throw, whether that's a critical third down conversion late in the game that you need, you have to figure out a way to make that play. Not the blank stare when it doesn't work out. You got to go make the play. And yes, it's tough because this is one of the best defenses in football. We know how good the San Francisco 49ers are, but this is about action. It's not about what a reporter asks you. It ain't about what Dak talked about. It ain't about having a conversation if he's a good quarterback or not. The San Francisco 49ers have been the bully on the block to the Dallas Cowboys. And a lot of that has to do with how their quarterback has responded in critical situations. You up again, this is another opportunity.
That man is preaching right now because I could not agree more, Marcus. It does not matter what you say in a press conference. You got to convince, not anybody else, convince yourself because you have the talent, Dak. That would be my message to you. You are as talented as any quarterback in the league, but it comes down to his point, these critical moments, those interceptions in that playoff game a year ago, they shouldn't have happened for a quarterback.
True on that one.
Because they're not smart this well when the opportunity is there, and then when they need him, you cannot only be the reason why your team loses, you have to be the reason why they win.
Yes,
it shouldn't be us moving heaven and earth to get you into a top-tier conversation. It should be us moving heaven and earth to have to try to keep you out of it because that's the kind of talent he has.
So the challenge for that football team, and it's not just Dak, is San Francisco's defense. You guys have both mentioned like one of the best in the league. It could be arguably the best. It's not just talented. One, I don't think there's a defense in football that runs through the ball as good as San Francisco's defense. And two, there is not a defense in football that tackles as well in space. And the Cowboys offense, so far in the first month, has been a little bit of a dink and dunk offense. Just a get it out, West Coast style, be completion-driven, efficiency offense. Part of that is because they've had the lead, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
so
you think?
their yards after catch, their yak has been significantly increased from last year. Do you want to know who's the #1 yak, yards after catch defending defense in football? San Francisco 49ers. They give up 3.2 yards per catch after the guy catches the ball. That's not going to work. If you're Dallas,
I still go by competition.
Quarterback play, all that stuff, Matt. If Dallas's offense is not going to have success against San Francisco's defense unless they're capable of making some guys miss and/or break tackles, and San Francisco just doesn't do it. They just don't do it defensively. That
At least
is
not
a
yet.
huge thing to pay attention to in that game Sunday night.
You know, Dan, you're hearing these guys talk about just the prove-it moments for Dak. It feels like early season this year even, this could be one of those.
Oh, there's no question about it. These teams are very evenly matched. They're both really well coached. They're very evenly matched. Kind of ride the backs of their defenses. Brock Purdy, in those moments, at least last year, was a better player than Dak Prescott when they played against each other last year. That was only one game. This is the chance for Dak to outplay Brock.
That's it.
This is one of those games that, and you guys don't like, you guys know me, I don't like tree-level analysis or treetop analysis. What quarterback's going to play better? Like, what quarterback's going to make those plays, value the football? And there are still question marks about if Dak can do that head-to-head versus Brock Purdy. There's going to be a lot more that determines the football game, obviously, but it's a huge game for Dak Prescott. Not only for, like, the outside, Marcus, but for the inside.
For him and his psyche and the team. Here's the other thing, too. Like, because it's a big misconception that
hey, we dogs, each and every one of us. It don't matter who playing out there.
The Miami over people offensively. Dallas defense gave up 19 points last year in the playoff game. Like, this is going to squarely be on. And another name, CeeDee Lamb. Like, if you want to really solidify yourself as #1 guy, a guy that can make plays in games and bring your team above that level, and obviously has a lot to do with how Dak plays, this is the opportunity.
This is.
Because teams don't beat the San Francisco 49ers on scheme. They beat them on playmakers making plays. And if we go back to every game that they've lost, up in NFC championships or even in the Super Bowl, it's been about players and not plays. That's why it's critical for Dak Prescott.
Josh Dobbs played really well against the Fordo's feet, man. I still don't ever get over those feet. So going into last week, there was the conversation Cowboys offense, specifically down in the red zone. What do you got to do? And it's like, throw the ball to your best offensive weapon, CeeDee Lamb. They do that against New England. Down in the red zone, they throw him a go or a fade route, ends up being a touchdown. So we wanted to touch on what the go route is and why it worked for CeeDee Lamb against New England.
Absolutely. It starts with getting some intel as a wide receiver down here at the bottom. I see man-to-man press coverage in the red zone. I am licking.
All right, I'm going to stop it here because I got to get ready to get the meats. But it's safe to say, they're basically saying the Cowboys have no chance. And we'll see. We'll be live streaming as soon as I get back from the store, getting ready, of course, for the game. And I hope to see you guys here. And as always, you know how we roll.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say